Hi traders, welcome to the week ahead. GJ here. I trust you've had a good weekend. Without further ado, let's get into the charts and have a look to see what is on offer. We have non-farm payroll this coming week, and it's got to be interesting to see how that all plays out. We're looking right now at the dollar index, but before we get into that, let's just do the housekeeping. This video is only for educational purposes only. It expresses my own personal opinions and it does not offer financial advice. By watching this video, you agree not to hold the distributors of this video responsible for any of the ideas and opinions expressed. Trading in the currency market is high risk, and because of the high leverage that is used in trading, you can stand to lose some or all of your money. If you have any doubt about trading in the currency market or any other market, or feel the need for investment advice, then you need to go to a qualified and registered financial advisor before any investment is made. Let's get that gone and get into the charts. Last week we were looking at a little bit of sideways movement, and then on Friday it broke down below this key level of 93, and now we're at 92. Now the reason I've marked 92 is simply because this is the last low. So we've had higher highs all the way down. We've had lower lows all the way down. Sorry, lower highs all the way down, lower lows all the way down. Now if we get a break below here and we begin to take out this level, then you will see pairs like the New Zealand USD. Let me just change this up to the weekly. You can see the week, how it's moved. We thought that, I thought possibly that we could get a bit of sideways movement, but it hasn't. It's broken down here. Now we're looking at a break below this level here, exposes these areas here. If we get a close below here, then the chances are we're going to have an opportunity to see the dollar come down and test this area here. Now that will make a difference to you: New Zealand USD, Aussie USD, USD CAD, USD Swiss, USD JPY. So let's get in the charts and have a look. Alrighty. It's Amazon. Okay, let's go. First up, Aussie CAD. We're again at this key inflection point, and it is possible that this could have been the first move up and a little bit of a retest, but in terms of a retest, that's pretty shallow. I would be much happier and prefer a retest down lower if it's going to be a genuine retest, so somewhere in this area. So right now at the moment, it's standing on the sidelines as far as I'm concerned. I would like to see this come back into here and form a right shoulder to an inverted head and shoulders. And if that was the case, that would be the neckline. And again, I'm not motivated or driven by chart patterns such as crowns, shoulders, etc. and pennants. They all do work sometimes, and they're worth noting. Head and shoulders are supposedly a reversal signal. We haven't had the shape of this shoulder here really form. You could argue that, but again, it's subjective. So any break above this line here, like if we had a break and a retest and then up, I'd definitely be in. I'd be all over it, especially if we see weakness continue in the US dollar. Again, Aussie Swiss, I am in this, and this is where I got in down here. I just like the look of it. And if we get up above here, I mark this in here, I will be adding to the trade. If we come back to the daily chart just for a better perspective, you can see the move up. Brilliant. I really like it. I've been waiting a long time for this to eventuate, and any clearance of this level up here is a good opportunity to buy, in my humble opinion. AUD JPY, well, this is known usually as a carry trade, the yen pairs, but it hasn't really got up and got going. And if we squish the chart up, you can see that this area here is a very, very important area in terms of price reaction. And if this pair is going to get going and have a decent move up, we need to close above this area here. So I'm not holding my breath, but I'm watching this, and any bullish formation in here above this level, I will be going in north. It's just a matter of patience. Okay, here we have the Aussie Z. We had a move down on the strength of the New Zealand dollar. It had a bit of love last week, and we need to just be careful with this. As I've always said, and you've heard me babble on a lot about this pair, I don't mind trading it, but I'm very aware that this pair here is a neutral pair. So there's never or not, I won't say never, but there's not often a strong divergence between weakness and strength in this pair. So just watch your levels, and let's see what happens. A retest in here. At the moment, the New Zealand dollar is showing a little bit more strength than the Aussie. So just be patient and wait for your opportunities. The Aussie USD, here with the entries down here, and we're heading up to 74. And I will be looking for opportunities this week to add to the Kiwi positions and the Aussie positions north on the different pairs. So if we put this in perspective, you can see that we got a clear run now, pretty well up to these levels here. So any pullback is an opportunity in my book to get north and add to the trade. Okay, CAD Swiss still needs a good kick up the hiney. These are historical lows, and providing we get a good move off these levels here, this is still the weekly chart, so you can see we've got a good double bottom here. It looks like this is panning out to be the solid base, and I'm looking for any hint of some good signals to go north. Now, when you come down to a daily chart, you can see this consolidation business that's been carrying on for nearly 2 weeks, and it does have to make a move above these levels in here in order to have me getting a little bit excited. And we will wait and see. The CAD will have to strengthen, and the Swiss will have to weaken. And right now, the Swiss is still one of the strongest currencies with the 8 pairs that we trade. Okay, here's the CAD JPY. Had a nice move up here. That was the move. That was the entry, and you could have picked it up. Real simple stuff. It's only 100 pips in here. I'm not really interested in trading this at the moment until I get a break above here or below here. If we get a break below this area here, then it's on the cards that these areas here could be retested. So just keep an eye on that, because once it turns, if the Canadian dollar really starts to strengthen, then we're going to be, looking at a decent opportunity, in my humble opinion. Swiss JPY is a little bit like the Aussie New Zealand to me. Both neutral pairs. Technically you could argue a case for it going higher, and technically you could argue for a case for a decent pullback. We've got a double top up here. There's no trade as far as I'm concerned. Euro AUD, we've had a move down, and I hope you caught this. I got into this on Friday before the markets closed, and we can see this. You can see after this drop here, this is a real test. I'm going to be taking profit down in here, and then I'm going to wait to see if it's going to break lower. Now the Aussie is strengthening, and that's why we're seeing this move down. So again, protect your profits as it comes down into here, and I'd be looking at making sure that you've got your profits well protected once it comes down to this area of 160. and we'll see what happens. This is a strong bottom. Looking back here, left or right, depending on how you see it. This area here is a very, very strong support area. So once we get to here, I will be taking all my trades off the table. I have not got any new trades. I said on Friday I'm not in anything new, anything else. I still got, like the Euro AUD, I had a couple of positions still in there. Euro CAD, just watching this. There's no trade here at the moment in my book. I'm just waiting to see if this is going to pan out and be the new bottom. And then we'll wait and see how that plays out. Euro, Swissy, there's no trade there. Euro, pound. Now I'm watching this with interest because in another couple of months, I think it's the end of October, but you'd have to check it out for yourself. Britain will be leaving the European Union, whether there's a deal or no deal. Now, I still think, regardless of how they leave, that there's more than likely going to be a little bit of more weakness in the pound. So be careful with this. If you're entering this trade, protect your profits and be aware that this here is a key area of support and resistance. And if I was in this trade, which I am not, I would be taking my profits down here and waiting to see what happens, especially as we get closer and closer to D-Day, as it were, around that whole exit scenario out of the European Union by Britain. Again, just marking time here. Currently, no trade for me on the Euro JPY. That's all good. Just watching levels, we do have a double top here. This level of 127 is pretty important. It's a high, and if we come to a bigger time frame, let's go to the weekly and just have a quick look. You can see that this area here is starting to get into some traffic jams. So it's going to take a really strong euro to push up above here. So for me, I'm not really that interested in trading it at the moment. I keep an eye on it, obviously. Euro ZD, that was the same as the Euro AUD. I hope you guys caught it, but I've begun to take profit down in here, and we will see what happens after that. This is a very important support area. If the New Zealand dollar and the Aussie dollar continue to strengthen, then we could see a move lower on this piece. Euro USD topping out at this 1900. 1, 2, 3, 4 times it's tested it. Now, if we take a look at the bigger picture, it was back in 2018, around January 2018, when we got that big push up to 125. Now, if you have a look in the big picture, we're still in a downtrend. We have not reversed as yet. But we've had, since about July, this move up, and we're retesting 1900 right now. If this is going to go higher, and if the new US dollar does continue to weaken further, we could get some more push up here. And if we get a close above this level of 1900 with a good bullish signal, then we could be looking at 120s on the cards. And then after that, it'll be 121, but this will be the next big block. So just keep an eye on that. And if the US dollar starts to fall out of bed, this could be a really good opportunity for a decent trade. There's 200 or 300 pips in there. Pound AUD, bottoming out here. And again, I just think the pound pairs are like a spring crawling up, getting ready to go ping and blast off. So just watch your levels. Pound caddies locked in this range. No trade. The pound Swiss is probably the one that I'm licking my chops about the most right now. We are at historical lows, and once the dust clears from, exiting out of Brexit, and you can see on this monthly, I like the fact that it's broken, it's bouncing off this historical low, and it's breaking the trend line, and I just think it could be setting up and getting ready for a move up. And so I am looking for, go back to the daily, looking for this. You see, now I've got in this, and we'll see what happens. Would expect some sort of a retest 50% of the time, and then if we do get that retest, I will be piling into it and looking for a decent move up. That might not come for quite a few months, until after the dust is settled with the whole Brexit business. Nothing on the pound JPY. Just watching the levels, a break above this level here, which is around about 142. You get a break above that, it could be worth a look. But right now, no trade. Just keep your eyes on it. Pound, New Zealand, would expect the pound to weaken against New Zealand. Has a little bit last week, but hasn't really moved with any great conviction in my book. So looking at this area here for a retest this coming week, keep an eye on it. It's not high on my priority. I've got alarms set. Pound USD. Love this little move up here, and you can see that it gets sideways and makes a break, came down for a retest, and then up we go. So I think that this area in here is key. We'll just squish this up and have a look. You can see here. Let me just get this off. That this area here is an interesting area. And we have not been up here this high for some time. So this area in here, coming down around here somewhere, we're at a key inflection point, and any break above this area of 134 roughly is going to open up to the top side. So keep an eye on that, especially if the US dollar continues to fall. So let's take a look at the New Zealand USD. The darling. Lovely move up, and we talked about this weeks ago about how it was going sideways, looking for a break out of here, and we got it. Took a while, just like it took a while here, and then had a little move up, but 68 is a real key level for this. I'll be taking profit here. I may leave a little bit of a position open, or I may leave one position open, but this is going to be a real test for this pair at 68. If the US dollar continues to drop out of bed, then we could be getting a test up here to around about 70. Let's go to the New Zealand JPY. Again, like the Aussie JPY, usually a carry trade. Not too excited just yet. There's double tops here. There's a key area of resistance and support that it has struggled to get past. So really, if this is going to be a really good trade with a burst north, it has to break, I believe, this area 72. And the yen is tracking a little bit indecisively at the moment. So don't be too keen. I think there's better options on some of the other New Zealand peers. But that will be up to you to make a decision on. Now, the New Zealand CAD, we saw this break on, got in down here, testing this area now, which is a key area of resistance. And if you round it off around 89, that's good enough. But it's a little bit low. Here we go, somewhere down there. Watch this area. This could be the roof, and it could just bounce on the roof for a while and go sideways before it makes up its mind. So caution, patience, all good stuff. The New Zealand Swissy, I really do like this entry down here. looking for some sort of a retest, and if we get it and then a bounce off this level, I will be getting back in and targeting these areas here for profit. Right, let's go to the US Caddy. US Caddy has broken down here a little bit, but it's not very convincing at the moment. And I think, as I look at this pair, that this key area of 130 comes into play here. So I'm going to be cautious, and unless I get a break below here, I'm probably not going to look at it. There's a lot of traffic in here. I think there's better options on the US dollar pairs than the US Caddy at the moment. So for me, I will just be standing aside and watching with interest. I have my key levels broken in, and if they're broken, then I'll consider a trade. 132 has to be broken in my book before I would look at something going north, and 130 before I would look at something going south. USD, Swissy, a little bit the same, you know, as the USD Caddy. I just think there's better options. You know, this was a nice little breakdown here, but then it's just, look at it, it's just fluffing around, lots of indecision. If we just look back here, this is and was a key area here. You can see it. We're still looking at the weekly chart, and you can see that there's quite a bit of traffic in here. So for me, if I was going to take another level of support and resistance, I'd probably be looking at one there. There's a lot of traffic jam in here. Probably somewhere in there. It's real difficult to see. Now we'll go back to the daily just for a quick look before we move on. But right now there's nothing there that's really, you know, grabbing me. I'm more inclined to wait. But if we get a break of these levels here, especially 90, and then we get a retest here, I'd be interested in going lower. But right now I'm sitting on the sidelines. USD JPY. I think this is getting ready to go. And so I've got pending orders sitting under here, and anything that breaks below 105, I'm going to be all over. Let's go to gold. Gold's been making efforts to get back up off the 1900 area. We did break a 1900 and got a slow down here. That was a good place to grab it if you happen to be in front of your computer. Looks like this 1920 is forming the next decent base, and as you've heard me say before, often gold does this. You know, it has moves up and then it'll go sideways for weeks, and then it'll make its way up. And I know that past patterns and market performance is no guarantee for future market performance in any way, shape or form. But the thing is this. Gold, under these present circumstances, I believe, is set to rise, and we're going to see it above 2,000. In fact, I would not be surprised that by the time we're halfway through 2021, we could be starting to knock on the door of 2,500, 3,000. And it's not going to go straight up there, but just keep an eye on this, and any chance that I have of getting in to go north again, I will be taking this, and I get a break here, I'll be putting my toe in the water, building into a break of this high here. I'll be going in again, protecting my profits, and I'll be loading up once we break 2,000 again. Silver is very similar. We're just in this holding pattern right now. I think I've still got one or two positions open on my share trading platform. So any break above 28, and I'm starting to get excited again. We haven't taken a look at the economic calendar, but we do have non-farm payroll. They're going to be the big items this coming week. So as we get into the week, tomorrow we have the cash rate. There's no expected change in the Aussie dollar, but keep an eye on it, because this can cause a little bit of momentum to come into the Aussie dollar one way or the other. The rest of the week, GDP quarter on quarter, I'm going to be interested on that. Any divergence from predictions could and will have an effect. And then we have ADP, non-farm payment change, and this, they say, is like a crystal ball into non-farm payroll, but it's a pretty quiet week, really. And the governor of the Bank of England will be speaking. I'll keep it. I won't be getting up for this, but I'll have a listen to him when I get up in the morning. But here's the big ticket items at the end of the week: the non-farm employment change. Now, there hasn't been a great deal of fireworks one way or the other over the last few months on this. And be careful, because market sentiment is real crazy. They will take the market one way when you're expecting it to go the other way from your fundamental information, and you can get caught short. So be very, very careful around this. I'm not trading the news. I will wait for it to settle, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll see if there's any hint of any direction. That's if I'm up, which I probably won't be. But if I am up and having a cup of hot chocolate, I will be watching the non-farm payrolls to see how the markets react. Righto, with that being said, that's it. So have a really good week, and please be careful out there. There's great opportunities coming, and if you're patient, they will come to you. So please take care out there. Please protect your capital. Make sure that you are locking in your profits as you go. Don't do anything stupid. Play it safe, and we will see you in the chat room. Cheers.